You are looking live at Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants take on the 0-15 Dallas Cowboys. And why the Dallas Cowboys 0-15? They suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Gonna go live for about 30 minutes here. Just had the, it ended a little while ago, but I just got back from Jamaica, so I'm just trying to do the best I can. But a very, very exciting preseason game. Once you just got to remember, guys, it's preseason. It's there basically for two things. One, to, assess, not so much, like Saquon Barkley, assess Leonard Williams, what they can do. We know what they can do. But, assess the other players that we got, because Tuesday we got to trim down another 5. Next week we got to go down from 80 down to 53. That's when we got to trim 27 players next week. So we need to see as many of those second and third stringers in there as we possibly can, because some of these guys are basically fighting for their lives. But there's two things you're trying to do, obviously, during a preseason game. One is, to assess, if you win, that's great. It's not the end of the world if you lose. But to assess, where you are, what your players are doing, how they are. But also is health. You're trying to stay healthy. That's just not happening with the New York Giants. I know we're sounding like a broken record here, but yep. Another game, some more injuries for the New York Football Giants. But it was a good, very exciting game. A lot of it was, the Bengals didn't start their guys. The Giants wind up sitting a lot of their guys. Daniel Jones wasn't one of them. So, he did very well. But you got to keep it in mind, he was like when he went up against the Patriots last week. It was against second stringers. Okay, so he looked very good against the second stringers. All right, but then let's keep in mind, you got to keep a bunch of things in mind. One, it wasn't against the first stringers for the Bengals. Okay. But let's also keep in mind, I'm going to go over this in a few minutes here. The amount of offensive linemen the Giants are missing is just, it's absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. The 3 killer bees weren't playing, running back, Barkley, Breida, and Brightwell. So the Giants didn't have their full slate of offense, first stringers in there as well either. But all in all, nice game. Nice game for Daniel Jones. So we got a couple stories. I got a couple things from Giants.com. Giants defeated the Bengals, obviously 25-22 in their second outing of the preseason, but much of the attention, sadly, from MetLife Stadium was on the status of Kayvon Thibodeau, who got cut block. He left in the first half of the knee injury. He didn't come back. No problem there. They're just going to let him sit out the rest of the preseason or whatever, but he's going to get checked up tomorrow, and hopefully we're avoiding anything major, hopefully. The Giants are going to hold a joint practice with the Jets on Thursday, okay? And then obviously their preseason finale will be next Sunday at MetLife Stadium, okay? This Tuesday, you got to go from 85 players down to 80, so there was 5 guys out there that were playing for their lives. Not so much their lives. They get cut. A lot of guys are going to get cut. They'll get picked up. Some of the guys will get picked up, But and then the following week after that, we got to go from 80 guys down to 53 guys. So you're going to have to cut another 27. So that's why it's so important to get all those second and third stringers in there, get them some opportunity to see what they can do. I'll tell you what, the Giants offense, rather impressive. I'm going to go over some stats here. I'll tell you what. Very impressive, and it's the second stringers, the third stringers, whatever, but they were going up against second and third stringers. But they were rather impressive, especially our third string quarterback, Mr. Webb. Very impressive. Daniel Jones played the first 3 series of the game and completed all but 2 of his 16 pass attempts for 116 yards. Now, let's keep in mind also the one that he had, okay, that got intercepted. Was it a little high to Daniel Bellinger? Yeah. I mean, could he have handed it off, got it in there a little better, right? Right. Yeah. Did Daniel Bellinger have to stretch his hand? Yeah. But kind of reminded me a little bit of the Evan Ingram. Now, usually Evan Ingram is kind of like Evan Ingram will run, turn around, face the quarterback throws the ball. Evan Ingram puts his hands up, the ball goes right through his hands, and of course there's a defender standing right behind him and picks the pass off. This one kind of reminded me a little bit of that. He's running across the field. She had a stretch, but the ball bounced through his hands, got through his hands. But let's not also, take away, it was a very good interception by Dax Hill, I believe it was. He did a very good job. I could have gone either way. If they called that an incompletion, I wouldn't have, I wouldn't argue it either. If they think he got his hands under it before it hit the ground, I'm not going to argue with that either. You got to give him credit. Nice job at picking that pass off. So, I mean, that's one of those ones that's going to go against Daniel Jones, an interception, but could have been caught. Yeah. So, all right. But he 14 of 16 for 116 yards. All right. Let's see. He ended the night with a 11-play, 84-yard touchdown drive. Very impressive. Okay. Backup Tyrod Taylor completed 7 of 11 for only 37 yards. And Davis Webb, right, took us home. Davis Webb, 22 of 27, 204 yards, 2 touchdowns, 122.8 passer rating. Webb also ran in the 2-point conversion time where he couldn't find anybody open. So he just took it and ran into the corner of the end zone. The guy snuck it in right by the pylon there. Very good job. Looking, nothing there. Took off himself, got us the 2-point conversion, which wound up being very, very big. Let's see. Overall, the Giants quarterback, they completed 43. When was the last time you heard the New York Giants completing 43 passes in a game? You got me. I mean, you can look back. I'm sure possibly they've completed more. But there were 43 out of 54. 80% completion. Wow. Very good. I mean, there wasn't 43. They didn't have 782 yards passing. I get that. But 80% completion with 3 quarterbacks. A shell of an offensive line. Wow. After they took out maybe the main guns. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go over this in a minute, but then as I said, with Saquon Barkley getting a night off, Antonio Williams got the start at running back. All right, after he led the team with 9 carries for 61 yards and a touchdown in the opener, he ran the ball 5 times for 26 yards and added 7 more catches for 46 yards. But it's just Sean Corbin who found the end zone, okay, capping Jones, the touchdown drive, the 2-yard touchdown run. Colin Johnson, all right, who had a team high 82 yards and 7 catches against New England. He had 3 more catches for 41 yards, so he has 10 receptions in the preseason. So he's certainly making a name for himself to stick on this roster. All right. He was one of 4 receivers who had long receptions of at least 20 yards. David Sills had 5 catches for 56 yards. Keelan Dawes had the 1 catch for 20 yards. And Alex Bachman-Turner Overdrive, who was the star of the night, 11 catches, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. He caught his second touchdown was a 15-yard go-ahead score with 35 seconds left to go. I'll tell you what, him and Webb, they look like they were just, I don't know. Looked like it was Joe Montana. Not so many words, but I mean, I'll tell you what, very impressive. Before Friday's practice, Coach Brian Dable announced Max Garcia would start at center after the Giants just let him go. It's like, oh no, we just lost. I don't know, however many more offensive linemen. Max, you better come on back. We're going to need to re-sign you, buddy. All right. Jamil Douglas, Ben Bredesen, Joshua Zudu, Garrett McGinn, John Feliciano, Shane Lemieux, Nick Gates, and Matt Parrott remain on the fifth. We're not, and Devery Hamilton started in for Lemieux at left guard. I mean, the guys, the offensive line. I'm going to go over it more in depth and detail in a moment, but I'll tell you, absolute 10 guys that the Giants have or had on their roster or offensive linemen that couldn't play in the game. Absolutely unbelievable. The Giants, who were down numbers up front, signed 2 offensive linemen heading into Sunday's game. They added Chris Owens, who was an undrafted rookie out of Alabama, okay, who was recently released by the Steelers, and they brought back Josh Rivas, who they waived on August 14th, okay, about a week ago, because, I mean, they just losing guys left and right. They waived defensive tackle Christopher Hinton and placed wide receiver Robert Foster, hamstring on injured reserve, okay. The defense, all eyes turned out to rookie Kayvon Thibodeau in the second quarter. When the 5th overall draft pick went down and did not initially get back up, the medical team brought out the cart, but Thibodeau didn't want to have nothing to do with it. He walked off the field in his own power. You'd like to see that. The team announced it was a knee injury, and he did not return. As the injuries turn, it's like a soap opera here. The Giants also lost inside linebacker Darian Beavers, another member of the draft class, with a knee injury. Cornerback Khalil Dorsey had the lone sack of the night. So, I mean, I know they're not showing all their guns and this, that, and the other thing, but I'll tell you what, I hope there's more pressure in store for the defense, because I'm not very impressed. I know things were very vanilla with the Patriots. I know they were kind of probably very vanilla with the Bengals, but tell you what, I'm not impressed with this pass rush that we have so far. 1 sack against the Patriots, 1 sack, against the Bengals. Not impressed. Let's see. Rookies, Micah McFadden, a 5th-round pick from Indiana, led the team with 5 tackles. Outside linebacker Toman Fox sealed the victory with a big hit to force a fumble in Cincinnati's final effort. That could have been huge for Mr. Fox as far as trying to make the team. Right. We learned about the special teams. After scoring the first touchdown, the Giants allowed a 73-yard kickoff return to Chris Evans. I tell you what, they gave up some long returns against the Patriots. The 73-yard kickoff return to Chris Evans. Not impressed so far. Not impressed. Giants later announced the kicker was ruled out with a concussion. The woes didn't stop there. Oh, no. Cincinnati turned a long return into a field goal, and C.J. Board was hit hard on the ensuing kickoff, causing him to lose the football. He was ruled out with a rib injury. And I believe the Bengals turned that into 3 points. And they also turned the Daniel Jones interception into 3 points. Turnovers will kill you. But the Scottish Hammer, Jamie Gillian, assumed Gano's kickoff duties in the second half and made a 31-yard field goal. And Mr. Duct Tape, Julian Love, was the holder. Love it. After the touchdown catch, Alex Bachman-Turner overdrive made a tackle on the ensuing kickoff to pin the Bengals at their own 17. So he's really making a name for himself to stick on this team. If you can, go out there and catch some balls, couple touchdown receptions, 11 receptions over 100 yards, and do some damage on special teams, very impressive. All right, so what we got here? Kayvon Thibodeau with the knee. C.J. Board, he had the rib injury. Graham Gano with a concussion. Inside, Darian Beavers had a knee injury. And again, the captains were Andrew Thomas and sexy Dexter Lawrence. And, of course, then we got Kayvon Thibodeau. All right, the hush from the small gathering at MetLife Stadium, the sounds of silence, was the stunned reaction to what had transpired on the field. Prize rookie Kayvon Thibodeau was down, grabbing his right knee in obvious pain. This was early in the second quarter night, a Sunday night, and for a short while, that must have seemed like an eternity to everyone associated with the Giants, because he was just on a turf. I mean, just holding his knee, and it's like, here we go. Here we go. But it was not all bad. It appeared as if Thibodeau would not get back to his feet. But he did, and the initial belief is that he dodged a serious injury, although further testing will determine the extent of his damage, if any, to the talented pass rusher. Okay. So he kind of got up. They brought a cart out for him. He didn't want to do nothing. It wanted nothing to do with the cart. He walked past the cart, got off, went into the blue tent, came out a little while later. Thibodeau went down with when he was cut blocked by tight end Thaddeus Moss on a running play and immediately went down to the turf, grabbing his right knee. The car came out for Thibodeau, who remained down. He got to his feet and wanted no part of any motorized help. He walked right past the car, moving to the sideline under his own power. Thibodeau, number 5 overall pick, was having a strong summer in his first NFL training camp, immediately working with the starting defense and expected to be a big contributor in his rookie year. After getting checked out in the medical tent, Thibodeau remained on the sideline and conversed with his teammates at times, smiling and laughing. Before heading inside to the locker room, he was ruled out for the remainder of the game. And I'll tell you what, I mean, they rule him out for the rest of, training camp just to keep him safe. I'm fine with that. Now, it was 18 guys who weren't going to play against the Cincinnati Bengals. 18 guys. Giants injury woes seem to be as bad as ever. That's so they're injury riddled entering week 2 of the preseason that they'll be without more than 24 players on Sunday night, including 18 non-injured reserve and PUP players. The 18 players already rolled out are Matt Breida, Gary Brightwell, Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton, Ricky Seals-Jones, Andre Miller, John Feliciano, Ben Bredesen, Joshua Zudu, Shane Lemieux, Jamil Douglas, Garrett McGinn, Leonard Williams, Ellerson Smith, G. Hogward, Cordell Flock, Rodarius Williams, Dane Belton. I mean, Jesus God. In addition to that unbelievable tally, the Giants will also be without the following players: Nick Gates, Matt Parrott, Sterling Shepard, who are on the PUP list. Robert Foster is on injured reserve, and Marcus McKeithen is on injured reserve too. All right. And the only reason why it isn't even longer is because the Giants waived wide receiver Austin Prohl and cornerback Jaron Williams with injury settlements, and they terminated the contract of offensive lineman Matt Cano. All right. They brought back the Giants will start this is their second preseason game. They'll be starting their 6th center against the Bengals on Sunday night. 6th, second preseason game. I mean, so the Giants, if we go, all right, we got Matt Cano, right? Marcus McKeithen, Matt Parrott, Nick Gates. That's 4 guys right there. Then we had Garrett McGinn, Jamil Douglas, Shane Lemieux, Joshua Zudu, Ben Bredesen, and John Feliciano. 10 guys, 10 offensive linemen who won't be playing, who the Giants had, right, at Brennan Camp and all that, who can't play. Do they either let them go because of an injury on the PUP list, because of an injury, or injured from camp who can't play? 10 offensive linemen. 2 complete sets of offensive linemen won't be playing for the Giants. Absolutely unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. They're starting out. Daniel Jones started at quarterback, which might have been surprising after Coach Brian Daboll seemed a little hesitant on Friday about playing the quarterback with a banged-up offensive lineman. Jones had an impressive night. He was 14 out of 16, 1 interception, a ball that bounced off the hands of Daniel Bellinger and should have been caught. But once again, they didn't go up against a starting unit. Okay, so. Let's not forget about that. All right. Antonio Williams, who started, and Corbin split first-team running back reps as Saquon Barkley got the night off. The Killer Bees. Breida, Brightwell, and Barkley. All right. First-team offense line was Andrew Thomas, Devery Hamilton, Max Garcia, Mark Lewinsky, and Evan Neal. At least we have 3 of our 5 starters are able to play. But I mean, with Shane Lemieux with his toe, if that's like a turf toe, that thing could linger into the season. That thing, I mean, as sad as it sounds, that thing could linger all season long. I mean, he can go back in there, hurt it, have to come out for a game, 2 game, whatever. I mean, that could be, once again, could be an all season kind of thing. Absolutely unbelievable. Kenny Golladay, Wan'Dale Robinson, Colin Johnson, and David Sills split first team wide receivers reps. Sills had 3 catches for 46 yards on the touchdown drive. Starting defense gave up only 3 points after 9-play, 17-yard drive after the Giants failed on a 4th down conversion attempt. Right. So, I mean, so they gave up the 3 points there, right? When they went for it on fourth down. Then they gave up 2 more field goals, right? On turnovers. Okay. Noteworthy, the Giants, for the Giants was that inside linebacker Blake Martinez, who has not had a heavy workload this summer as he works his way back from torn ACL, played a handful of snaps early on. Cool. All right. Leonard Williams did not play. Nick Williams and Jalen Holmes got starting reps when the Giants were in a 3-man front. Davis Webb, Alex Bachman, Turner overdrive are unstoppable. The number 3 quarterback and a backup wide receiver who has largely been a practice squad player the past 2 seasons starred in the second half. A Webb to Bachman 22-yard scoring pass tied the game at 16 with 8:57 to play. Webb ran the ball in for a 2-point conversion, took the 18-16 lead. Bachman finished with 11 catches and 14 targets, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the 15-yard game winner. 35 seconds left to go in the game. Wow. Webb, who played the entire second half, went 22 of 27, 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. I didn't figure that out here. Hold on, let me see here. There we go. Calculator. All right, so we got 22 divided by 27. 81% completion. I mean, I know it was going against second, third stringers. I get it. But guess what? He had second and third strings in there himself. And guess what? He is a third stringer. 81% of his passes. Phenomenal. Love it. Backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor was 7 of 11. All right. Wide receiver David Sills had 5 catches on 7 targets while working primarily with Jones. Colin Johnson had 3 catches for 41 yards. Running backs Barkley not playing and Gary Brightwell and Breeder. Breeder was injured. Right. Antonio Williams and Jashawn Corbin split most of the load. Williams had 5 carries for 26 yards and another 7 carries for 7 catches on 7 targets for 46 yards. It was very important because you come out of the backfield, they dump it all. It's important to catch them. I mean, only average a little 6.5 yards of reception, but we'll take it. Corbin had 9 carries for 27 yards. Now let's also forget. I mean, wasn't as impressive as their running game last week, okay? But this week, I mean, we had so many guys missing. It's unbelievable. I'm going to go over their offensive line here in just a second, okay? Corbin had 9 carries for 27 yards, 4 catches on 4 targets for 15 yards, and a kickoff return of 20 yards, all right? Noteworthy, the injury-ravaged Giants fielded a makeshift offensive line in the second half. The alignment was as follows. I mean, let me go over this. This is unbelievable. Roy Mbaetika, okay, at left tackle, the guy from Nigeria, okay, had him at left tackle. Josh Rivas, who started, okay, that's Garcia. Rivas is the left guard. Will Holden was the center. Okay, we had Max Garcia as the 6th start center. Now we got Will Holden in there as a center as well too. Chris Owens, okay, who they just got, was the right guard, and Eric Smith was the right tackle. I mean, yeah, it's like you look, it's like who the hell are these guys? I mean, Mbaetika was playing the second football game of his life. All right. Rivas was cut last Sunday, all right, and signed Friday. Holden is a tackle by trade who played some guard in the first half. I mean, Holden is a tackle by trade who played some guard in the first half. And in the second half, they had him at center. Then he played Sunday at center in the second half. I mean, it's just a makeshift. And I'll tell you what, now we're going to go over some stats here, but very, very impressive. I'll tell you, they only got Giants only got sacked one time. They lost 1 yard on a sack. He has not worked at center at all during training camp. Owens is a rookie who was signed Friday. Smith was signed August 8th. Graham Gano out with a concussion. The Scottish Hammer took his responsibilities. Gillen hit 3 of 4 kickoffs for touchdowns. Made a 31-yard field goal and a pair of extra points. Very impressive. With Mr. Duct Tape, Julian Love holding. Gillian handled those duties in addition to punting in college at Arkansas Pine Bluff. All right? So that's good to know. I mean, Not that you want Graham Gano going out with concussions every game, but I'll tell you what, he handled it. He handled it. Now, that was a 31-yard field goal. We're not asking him to kick a 55-yard field goal, okay? So we're hoping a speedy recovery to our phenomenal place kicker, Graham Gano. All right. But I'll tell you what, I mean, the Giants had 13 receivers. Let me tell you this, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13 different receivers catch balls. 13. 43 receptions, 357 yards. Whew. Phenomenal. Really, really, really good. I'll tell you, let's see. We got team stats here. Here we go. Giants had 25 first downs to 18. All right. Giants were 9 out of 16 on third downs. Bengals were 4 out of 13. Giants were 2 out of 3 on fourth down. Giants had 75 plays, 423 yards. The Bengals had a grand total of 272 yards. Giants averaged 5.6 yards a play. Giants had 356 passing yards. Right? Giants were sacked one time with all those guys. I mean, they're dragging guys off the streets to play offensive line. They only had one sack for -1 yard. Now, of course, we're not playing first stringers. It's not the regular season, this, that. I get that, but you got to take, it is what it is. The Giants had 67 yards rushing on 20 attempts, only 3.4 yards per carry. But once again, the second straight preseason game, their run defense was very good. They gave up 69 yards rushing on 22 rushing attempts, 3.1 yards per carry. So very impressive. All right, the Giants were 2 out of 3 in the red zone. Okay, we'll take that. All right. Penalties at 7. They certainly do better. All right. Their 2 turnovers turned into 6 points for the Bengals. The Giants had the ball for 30 minutes, 41 seconds. Right. So all in all, they had a very, very nice game. Let's see, as I said, it ran the ball only 20 times. All right. But as I said, the second half offensive line they had in there was like, it was like, who? Right. But Alex Bachman, 11 receptions, 122 yards. David Sills, 5 for 56. Antonio Williams, 7 out of the backfield for 46 yards. Okay. Colin Johnson had another 3. So he has 10 for the preseason. Okay. Sean Corbin caught 4 balls. All right. Marcus Kemp, he caught 1 for 17. I mean, just Chris Myrick had 1. Austin Allen had 1. Richie James had 1 reception. Sandro Platzgummer had another 1. A lot of guys. Wandale Robinson caught 3 balls. Somehow he caught 3 balls for -3 yards. But, I mean, he's the least of our worries. I mean, the Giants, I hope, we're going to start doing a little bit better with the when the regular season starts rolling around with the pressure, because I'm not thrilled to death about. I know it's preseason, defense is vanilla, but I'll tell you what, if you got a vanilla defense in there, you can still get some pressure. They had 1 sack. They had 1 sack against the Patriots. We had 2 tackles for loss. We had 3 passes defensed. Okay, we had 3 quarterback hits. Micah McFadden had 5 tackles. He led the team. Okay. There's a bunch of guys a lot of guys with tackles. But, I'm kind of hoping that, we do a little bit better with the pressure against the Jets. And I hope our first 2 weeks, have not done a very good job as far as covering kicks. 73. Chris Evans ran one for 7, a kickoff return for 73 yards. The Bengals had like 2 first downs in the first half. Somehow on 2 first downs, 2 or 4 first downs, somehow basically almost no yards, they had 3 field goals. The 2 field goals, 2 of them came from the 3 field goals. 2 of them came from the turnovers, and the other one came from the kickoff return. Right? That's how you can score points, and you don't have to gain any yards offensively. So Giants have to clean up, I'd say so much clean up their pass rush, but I hope it gets a little bit better. Because so far I'm not very impressed at all with it. Because, I mean, you look at it, who do we got? Brandon Allen. I mean, they even had their starter going, right? Brandon Allen was 14 out of 20. Jake Browning was 10 out of 16. So between their second and third string quarterbacks, I mean, they were 24 out of 36. They had a very, very good game, against us. So they only got sacked one time. So we got to pressure's got to get a little bit better. Okay. And we gotta Clay Johnson. This is, I don't know. Am I seeing this right? Clay Johnson had 20 total tackles. Holy crap. It's 16 total tackles. Clay Johnson for the Bengals. Wow. 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, a quarterback hit, 16 total solo tackles, 20 total. Wow. But the Giants have to clean up their return defense. They're giving up. This week here, they didn't give up any punt return yards at all, okay, which is good. That's nice. However, they gave up a long kickoff return, which led directly to points. So they got to clean up their coverage game. That's not impressive. I mean, thankfully, it's only preseason, okay, but if they're giving up long returns now, there's a good chance they might give up long returns in the regular season as well, too. So, I mean, it's only preseason, long way to go. All right. But, yeah. So far, Giants 2-0. Only got one more preseason game left to go against the Jets, and then we'll be in Tennessee before you know it. Well, guys, that's about 30 minutes. Anybody spend any time at all, watch me. Thank you so much. Anybody at all spends any time watching and replay this, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much, guys, for taking time out of your day or night to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there, all right? And go Giants!